Hey there! In this video, I'm going to be talking about responsibility because unfortunately, many of us associate responsibility with basically sacrificing our own desires in order to fulfill the desires of somebody else who maybe we believe is above us in some way, such as a manager at work, or maybe a teacher at school, or our parents, or some ancestral figure. And we sometimes believe that it's our duty and that it's the right thing to do to give our time and our effort because these people who have what we believe to be more authority than us are telling us that this is the right thing to do and that we should be giving our time in order to satisfy their egoic needs, their egoic wants. And this is not responsibility, obviously. If you look at the word responsibility, it is response ability. Literally, your ability to respond. And so, when you realize this, things become a little more obvious when it comes to responsibility, and that literally all it is your ability to respond, and your ability to respond in a loving, peaceful, and compassionate way. And most importantly, listening to your intuition and to the divine guide that is inside of you, listening to your heart. This is true responsibility, because someone may tell you that you're being irresponsible if you're not doing your so-called duties at work or at school or with the family. But if it does not resonate with you at the highest level, and it goes against your intuition and what your heart tells you and what your highest excitement is telling you, then it would be irresponsible to listen to these people, as the only reason they would call you irresponsible is if they wanted you to succumb to their own desires. If they were truly being responsible themselves, then they would love you unconditionally, and they would want you to listen to your highest desires and to listen to your heart and your intuition. It is they who are being irresponsible by responding in a way that is less than loving and compassionate. And this is the only way to be absolutely responsible, is to cultivate your ability to respond that is in perfect alignment with your own intuition. Because is it really responsible to give up on your intuition and what your heart wants just to satisfy the needs of others? And wouldn't that be going against the needs of everybody else? If you gave up what you thought was the right thing to do because you felt it was your responsibility to listen to this authoritative figure who is seemingly above you in this life or has some sort of dominion over you, giving into their desires would be irresponsible to yourself. It would be irresponsible to every other living thing on the planet. It would be irresponsible to the planet itself, to the divine one within you. It would be irresponsible to God, because understanding that taking responsibility and always being in line with your intuition is the greatest thing that you could do for yourself, for every other thing on the planet, for the planet itself, and the universe at large. And that going against your intuition and doing something that somebody tells you just because they say that it's the right thing to do is not going to be the best for you. It's not even going to be the best for that person who is trying to get you to do what they want you to do. In fact, it's just going to increase their ego. It's going to increase their power-hungry drive. And by following your intuition and not always giving in to somebody just because they think it's the right thing to do will actually be the best thing for that person, because they have a lesson that they need to overcome in this life. They are stuck at a lower plateau and they need your help. They need you to follow your intuition. They need you to be responsible and to do the right thing and to love yourself, so that way they can learn how to do the right thing and love themselves through your example and through your shining, amazing, bright light that you will shine every time that you follow your intuition. And of course, it's great to be of service and help others out when it feels right in your heart and when it sounds like something that you really want to do. But if it's going against how you're feeling inside, then don't go for it. Just do what your intuition is telling you to do. Let the infinite intelligence within yourself guide you, and you will always be doing the responsible thing. We all must take responsibility for our own life and our own actions. We must all learn to cultivate the ability to respond in the most loving way. And when we look at how people use the term responsibility and things like accidents or projecting responsibility onto somebody else for their actions. Let's say that you are in a car accident and the so-called fault is on the other person. Maybe they weren't paying attention and they run into you. And now what the tendency for most people to do is to project so-called responsibility onto that person and say they are responsible for what just happened. And we take the responsibility away from ourselves, and we are sort of running from being able to process our ability to respond in a loving way. And I believe that it is a good thing to understand that nobody is to blame and nobody is actually at fault. This is something that is just happening, and it's something that is happening in perfect order to help you cultivate your responsibility, to help cultivate your ability to respond to any situation in the most peaceful and calm manner possible. And so, say it is the fault of the other person and the responsibility has been put on them, then now it is your turn to show your ability to respond by being kind and compassionate and going with your intuition in order to resolve the issue in the most pleasant and perfect way possible for every party involved. And say that the accident was your fault. Maybe you were on your cell phone and you weren't paying attention and you were the one who the so-called responsibility is now being put on. And maybe this person is now being less than responsible by responding in a negative manner and a projective type of manner where they are putting all fault and blame onto you and demanding that you do whatever it takes to satisfy their wants in this situation. And now the responsibility is on you, and it is your responsibility. It is now your turn to show your able to respond to this person in a loving way. This is all that responsibility is. We are responsible for everything that happens in our life. We have the ability to respond in any way that we'd like. And so it is most beneficial for your health and for your happiness that you learn to cultivate to respond in a way that cultivates that peace within you and does not stress you out. No matter what the situation, Understand that you are responsible for yourself, and other people are responsible for themselves, and how they choose to respond is their so-called problem. It is their responsibility, not yours, and you must choose to set the example and respond in a way that you would like to see other people respond. You have to be the example for others, and if you choose to be irresponsible and let your ego run rampant and give in to anger and fear, then this is what you will be protruding into the world, and this is the energy that you will be setting out and affecting the ones around you and everybody who is connected to the human consciousness grid. So I advise cultivating your responsibility and helping us all get to the next plateau, helping us all get to an elevated state of being where we can all just love each other and be responsible for ourselves, which is being responsible for everything else and everyone else. Infinite love to you, dear one, and thank you.